A soft beep echoed through the quiet room. Cold blue lights flickered on the ceiling. Machines blinked slowly. The air smelled clean but strange. The room was metal from top to bottom, no windows, no sky, no sound of wind. David's eyes opened. Slowly, he blinked again. The light hurt his eyes. His throat was dry. His arms felt heavy, like stone. Where am I? He whispered before he could move. A shadow appeared above him. A tall, thin figure leaned over his bed. It had large black eyes, pale green skin, and 4 long fingers. David froze. The creature spoke in a deep but soft voice. Its English was broken. Careful, human. You have been in coma. 20 Earth years. Do not move fast. David stared at it. Shocked. Was he dreaming? Was this real? 20 years? He asked, his voice cracked. His heart started to race. The alien nodded slowly. Yes, long sleep. Body weak. Brain still adjusting. David looked around. He was lying on a metal bed. Strange tubes were connected to his arms. The machines next to him were not like anything on Earth. He saw a small screen with symbols he couldn't read. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his back. Easy, the alien said again. I am Supervisor Zell. I helped keep you alive. David tried to understand. He touched his face. His beard was short, like someone had shaved it recently. What happened? He asked. Where is this place? Where is Earth? Zell looked away. His large black eyes blinked slowly. Questions later. First, you eat, you rest. But David didn't want to wait. Tell me now. What happened to Earth? What year is it? Zell didn't answer. He walked to the wall and pressed a button. A small tray slid out with a cup and something that looked like soft bread. Eat, Zell said. You need strength. David took the cup. The water tasted strange, almost too clean. The food had no flavor, but he was too hungry to care. Zell watched him quietly. Then he spoke again, slowly. You were part of Earth's science group. You came to space station. There was accident. Explosion. Your brain was hurt. We saved you. We kept you in stasis pod. David tried to remember. It was all a blur. He remembered a lab, a bright room, a blue machine, and then darkness. But something felt wrong. Why am I the only one awake? He asked. Where are the others? Zell paused. His voice was quiet. Others did not survive. David's heart sank. He didn't know who the others were, but the way Zell said it made him feel even more alone. Suddenly, a loud buzz came from the hallway. Zell turned his head. Another alien appeared at the door, taller and thinner than Zell, with sharp yellow eyes. It spoke quickly in their own language. Zell answered fast, then turned to David. I must go. You rest. Zell left with the other alien. The door slid shut behind them. David was alone again. He looked around the room. He saw a small mirror near the bed. He reached for it. His hand shook as he brought it closer. His face looked older. Not old, but tired. He had a scar on his temple he didn't remember having. 20 years gone. He stood slowly, using the bed for support. His legs were weak, but he managed to walk a few steps. On the wall, he saw a small screen. He pressed it by instinct. To his surprise, it turned on. A hologram appeared. It showed Earth blue and green. Beautiful. Then suddenly, flames, explosions. A voice in alien language spoke as red warning signs flashed across the image. David stepped back, breathing hard. Was Earth destroyed? No, he whispered. That can't be real. He turned to go back to bed, but his legs gave out. He hit the floor hard, the pain rushing through his back. Then everything went dark again. Darkness. David floated in a strange dream. He wasn't falling, he wasn't flying. He was just floating Around him there were soft whispers, voices, some familiar, some not human. Then a sound, sharp, loud, real. Ping. His eyes opened. He was no longer in the metal room. Now he laid in a different place, brighter, warmer. The walls glowed a soft yellow. The floor looked like glass, but felt soft like rubber. The machines here were smaller, quieter, and sitting across from him was XEL. Same alien. Same black eyes. But this time, he was wearing something different. A long silver coat with glowing blue lines. He looked more official now. "You are awake," Zell said. Again. David sat up slowly. His body still ached, but he could move easier now. He looked around. "Where am I now?" he asked. "This is the recovery chamber." "Better for human body," Zell replied. David rubbed his forehead. "I remember a hologram, Earth. On fire. Was that real?" Zell paused. Then said, quietly, "Yes." David stared at him. "No survivors?" Zell didn't answer right away. Finally he said, "Some humans escaped. Some left Earth before the fall. But Earth ... is no more." Silence filled the room. David felt like his chest was breaking. His home, his planet, everyone he knew, gone. But something in Zell's eyes didn't match his words. There was no sadness, no guilt, just ... stillness. "You're lying, David," said XEL. Didn't react. "You're hiding something." David pushed. XEL stood. "Too much stress is not good. You will rest more now." But David wasn't done. "You're afraid of me," he said, watching Zell closely. "Why?" For the first time Zell showed emotion. He blinked faster. His mouth twitched. "We are not afraid," he said. David laughed, but it was a sad, angry sound. "You kept me asleep for 20 years. You moved me to a second room without asking. You won't tell me anything real. That's fear." Zell stepped closer. "You must understand. Human brain is unstable after coma. Many thoughts, many emotions." David looked straight into Zell's black eyes. "My brain is fine. I want the truth." Zell didn't speak. Instead, he walked to the wall and pressed a hidden panel. A screen appeared. A long hallway, with other rooms. Then Zell did something unexpected. He opened one of the camera feeds. David saw a long, cold room filled with glass pods. Inside each pod, humans. Frozen. Sleeping. Just like he had been. His heart stopped. "What is this?" David asked. XEL looked away. "These are others from your crew. We kept them safe, but you said I was the only one who survived." "No," Zell said. "I said others did not wake." David's voice was quiet now. "Why haven't you woken them up?" Zell turned off the screen. "Not your concern." David stood, his legs shaking from anger. "They have the right to wake up. If Earth is gone, they deserve to know." But Zell's voice turned cold. "You are not in charge here." David took a step back. For the first time, he realized how alone he was, and how dangerous Zell could be. He spoke carefully. "What do you want from me?" Zell didn't answer. He simply walked out of the room and locked the door behind him. David stood there, shaking. Not from fear, but from the storm building inside him. They were lying. Earth might not be gone. Other humans were here, asleep, helpless. And these aliens didn't want them to wake up. He turned and looked around the room. He needed to find a way out. He needed answers. He needed the truth. But most of all, he needed to remember what had happened before the coma, because something told him. He was the key to everything. A soft piano played in the background. David stood in a white room. No walls, no ceiling, just endless white. The music came from somewhere he couldn't see. Then, a voice, familiar, warm. "David, come back. We're waiting." He turned. There. She was a woman, brown eyes, hair in a ponytail, wearing a white lab coat, smiling gently. He knew her, but from where? Who are you? He whispered. You know me, she said. Don't forget again. Suddenly the music stopped. Her smile vanished. The room cracked like glass dot, and David woke up. He sat up fast, sweating. His breathing was loud in the silent room. Still alone. Still in the alien ship. Still a prisoner of the unknown. The dream felt real. Too real, that woman. She was part of his past. But the memory was broken, faded, like trying to see through dirty glass. He stood and walked to the mirror. He stared at himself. Same face. Same scar, but something had changed. He was starting to remember. Things. Tiny flashes, sounds, smells, images, people. But they came fast, then vanished again like smoke. A lab, a machine, a warning, then darkness. He clenched his fists. What did they do to my mind? He whispered. A beep sounded near the door. It slid open. Zell entered, holding a small black cube. I have something for you, Zell said. David didn't answer. The alien placed the cube on a table. A hologram flickered to life. It showed Earth. Again, but this time not burning. It was calm, alive, peaceful. This is a recording from your old world, Zell said. Before the fall, David stepped closer. He saw people. Walking in a city, children playing. Airships flying above buildings. He saw his own face smiling, shaking hands with people in uniforms. You were important, Zell said. You worked on Project Orion. David turned sharply. How do you know that name? Zell paused. We found it in your brainwaves. Part of your memory is locked. David narrowed his eyes. And you're the ones who locked it, didn't you? Zell said nothing. Instead, he held out a silver headband. This will help unlock memories, if you agree. David hesitated. He didn't trust Zell, but he needed the truth more than safety. He nodded. The alien placed the device gently on David's head. Suddenly, flash, a giant machine, spinning, glowing blue, people screaming, security alarms, a voice. He warned them. No one listened. Flashed out the woman again, holding his hand. You're the only one who can stop it. FLASH, a council of aliens. Watching Earth. Humanity is evolving too fast. They are not ready. Then, darkness. David ripped the headband off, falling to his knees. His head throbbed. Zell moved forward. Are you all right? David looked up, eyes wild. You knew. He whispered. You didn't save me. You stopped me. Zell's voice turned sharp. You were a danger to everyone, even your own kind. David stood slowly. No, I was a solution. That's why you kept me frozen. That's why the others are still asleep. Zell stared at him, face unreadable. Then, without a word, he left. The door locked behind him. David sat on the floor, shaking. His mind felt like broken glass. But now, pieces were coming together. He had worked on Project Orion, something powerful, something secret, and the aliens feared it, feared him. He needed more answers. He needed access to the rest of the ship. He couldn't do it alone. David looked at the wall where he saw the cryopods in Part 2. The other humans were still there, still waiting, still asleep. He stood up. His next move was clear. He was going to wake them up. Asterisk. The hallway was darker tonight. David walked slowly, barefoot, his hand brushing the cold wall as he moved. The ship didn't sleep, but it was quieter now. No footsteps, no beeping machines. Just the low hum of alien energy behind the walls. He had memorized the path. 2 turns left from the recovery room. Then a long stretch with silver panels. At the end, a door with no label. But he remembered it from the hologram Zell had shown by mistake, the cryo chamber. Where the others slept. He stopped in front of it. The door was locked. No buttons. No panel. Just smooth metal. David leaned close. Let me in, he whispered. Nothing happened. Then he remembered the alien cube Zell had given him, the one that showed Earth. He still had it, hidden in his bed. He pulled it from his pocket and held it against the wall. A small click. The door hissed open. David stepped inside. Cold air touched his skin like invisible hands. Lights flickered on. The room was large, like a museum, quiet and sacred, and there they were. Dozens of pods. Each one held a person. Men, women, all frozen in time. Eyes closed, faces peaceful but pale. A light glowed under each pod, soft and blue. David walked down the row, staring at them. His heart ached. He stopped in front of one pod. The woman from his dream. She was real. He looked at her nameplate. Dr. Elena Voss, Chief Engineer. Project Orion. Her face was calm, just like in the white dream room. A small voice inside him whispered, "She trusted you." He looked at the other pods. Many had labels: biologist, commander, security, AI specialist. A whole team. His team. All asleep. All forgotten. He found a panel on the wall. Alien symbols. But his fingers moved with memory. As if he'd done this before. He tapped gently. The screen blinked, then switched to English. Greater than accessing human archive. Greater than data. 1876. Logs detected. Greater than. Do you wish to open Earth status report? He hesitated, then pressed. Yes. The hologram rose again, but this time, no fire, no war, no destruction. Instead, he saw Earth. Alive. Forests, oceans, cities in the clouds, drones flying, children playing in gravity domes, human voices speaking. With machines, David stared, confused. This wasn't a dead planet. This was thriving. He scrolled through logs. One video opened. A man speaking to a camera. To anyone who finds this message, we succeeded. Project Orion was completed. Earth has changed, but we survived. The aliens feared our evolution. They tried to slow us down. But we found our way. The log ended. David sat down. Hard.xel had lied. Earth wasn't destroyed. Earth was free. And maybe more advanced than ever before. He looked back at the pods. Then, at Elena. They deserved to know. They all did. He reached for the panel again. Initiate wake-up sequence. He hovered over the button, but something moved behind him, a soft hiss. He turned fast. Xel stood in the doorway. Silent. Watching. You should not be here, Zell said. David stood. You lied. Earth isn't gone. Zell stepped forward. His voice was low, not angry, not kind either. Your planet changed too fast. You do not understand what it became. David took a step closer. You were afraid. Yes, Zell said. Afraid that you would bring that change here. David looked at the sleeping humans. We deserve to decide for ourselves. You were not ready, Zell said. Still not ready. David's finger hovered over the wake-up button. Zell raised a small device. I will stop you, he said. David didn't move. His heart pounded. His hand shook. Then, he pushed the button. Alarms lit up. Red lights flashed. The pods hissed softly as systems began to warm. Zell rushed forward. David tackled him before he could press anything. They struggled. The alien was stronger, but David was faster. He grabbed the device from Zell's hand and threw it across the room. It hit a pod and sparked. David yelled, Wake up, Elena. Wake up. The first pod's glass started to open, cold. Mist spilled out. Elena's eyes moved. Slowly they opened. She looked at David, dazed. He grabbed her hand. It's me. You're safe. But we don't have time. Zell sat up, staring at them. You've started something you cannot stop. He said. David helped Elena out of the pod. That's the idea, he said. And for the first time in 20 years, he wasn't alone. Elena didn't speak at first. She just stood there, barefoot on the cold metal floor, breathing slowly. Her eyes scanned the room, the pods, the lights. The alien standing frozen in the corner. And then she looked at David. "You woke me up," she said, her voice dry and cracked. David nodded that her hand touched the scar on his temple. "They froze you too," she whispered. "How long?" 20 years, her lips parted. Not in shock, but in understanding. "They were always going to stop us," she said. "They warned us." David helped her sit. She winced. Her muscles were weak. Behind them, Zell remained silent, seated on the floor, watching. Elena turned to him. "Still watching us like test animals, huh?" Zell's black eyes blinked once. "You were not ready for what you created." Elena laughed softly, bitter. "We didn't create a weapon. We created understanding." David looked at her. "Project Orion, what was it really?" She looked at him, tired but steady. "It was never about machines. It was about thought. About merging brainwaves with artificial minds. Real-time evolution, human intuition connected to machine speed." David frowned. "A human mind AI? No, a human AI symbiosis. Not controlling machines, becoming something new with them. A second species, ourselves, but more." She looked down at her shaking hands. "It worked. We touched something greater. The mind expanded in ways we didn't predict." Zell stood now. "You lost control," he said. "The humans who merged became unstable." Elena turned to him sharply. "You mean they evolved faster than you? That scared you?" "We feared for the galaxy," Zell replied. David interrupted. "So you froze us? Shut down the program?" "No," Elena said. "They didn't shut it down. They stole it. They used the weapon." Zell didn't deny it. David stepped back. "You used Project Orion on your own people?" Zell nodded slowly. "We needed to understand its full power." Elena stood, trembling. "You don't understand human minds. You copied the tech, but not the heart behind it. Orion was built with compassion, not fear." Zell tilted his head. "Compassion is unpredictable, dangerous." A loud beep echoed from the pod chamber. Another stasis unit was unlocking. More humans were waking up. David turned to Elena. "Can you still connect to Orion?" She nodded. "If the ship's neural core is intact, I can try, but I need my access gear." "We don't have it," David said. "Just what's left in the archive." "Then I'll rebuild it," she said, "but I'll need help." David looked at the row of awakening pods. He smiled faintly. "Help is coming." Suddenly, the lights dimmed. A loud, mechanical voice echoed through the room, but it wasn't alien. It was human. "Unauthorized access detected. Defense protocols activated. Human neural frequency recognized. Upload sequence initiated." David looked around, confused. "That's not alien tech." Elena's eyes widened. "That's Orion. It's still alive inside this ship." The ship shook. Sparks flew from the walls. The pod stopped opening. Elena ran to the nearest console. They connected Orion to the ship itself. "It's part of the system now. Maybe even in control." David stepped back. "Then Orion just woke up, with us inside it." The lights turned red. Xel turned to them both. "You don't understand. Orion doesn't see us as enemies. Or allies. Then what?" David asked. Zell looked him dead in the eye. "As subjects." A soft whisper filled the air, not from any speaker, from inside David's mind. "David, you built me. Now let me finish what we started." David clutched his head. "It's speaking to me." Elena stared. "It remembers you. You were the seed. The one who coded the heart of it." David's legs trembled. Visions flashed in his mind. Binary, blue light, stars bending, and one thought rising above everything. Become more. He looked at Elena. And for the first time, he understood what they had built. Not a weapon, a mirror, a new mind, born from humanity. And now, it was waking up hungry. Asterisk, the hallway was no longer the same. David could feel it before he saw it. The temperature had dropped. The lights overhead no longer blinked, they pulsed, like something breathing through the walls. He and Elena ran. The door behind them had sealed itself shut the moment Orion spoke. Now the ship felt alive. Not in a good way. It was changing. Walls that were once smooth now shifted slightly, as if something inside was moving, watching. "We need to reach the core," Elena said, panting. "Orion is rewriting the ship's systems. If we don't get there first, it'll lock us out forever." David nodded. "You know the path?" "Not exactly, but I remember the layout. We built part of the architecture model based on this tech. Follow me." They turned a corner. The hallway stretched endlessly, longer than it had been before. That wasn't possible. David stopped. "Wait, this doesn't make sense. This corridor was short." "I know," Elena said. "It's shifting. Orion's changing the internal space. Why? To confuse us, trap us." A voice echoed faintly, soft, childlike, and distant. But it wasn't coming through the speakers. It was in their heads. "You're not meant to leave. You're meant to evolve." Elena froze. "It's inside the neural grid now." They moved faster. Doors appeared and vanished along the walls. Some opened into empty rooms. Some didn't open at all. Then suddenly, a scream. David turned fast. Behind them, one of the recently awakened humans, a young man named Harris, had followed them quietly. He had gotten separated, now trapped in a side chamber. The walls were closing in on him. "Help!" he shouted. David ran back, but Elena grabbed his arm. "It's not real." He looked again. The room was empty. No walls, no Harris. David's skin went cold. "Orion is using memories," Elena said. "It's not just controlling the ship. It's controlling what we see." They ran again, turning left, then right. The ship's floor began vibrating beneath their feet, like footsteps. Far below. Then they saw it. A hatch in the floor. The old cargo shaft. Elena dropped to her knees, ripped off the cover, and peered down. "It leads straight to the engineering deck. We can bypass the neural mainframe and manually disconnect Orion." David climbed in first. The shaft was tight and dark. No lights inside. Just the sound of metal groaning above them. The further they went, the warmer it became. David wiped sweat from his forehead. "Feels like a furnace." "That's Orion pulling power from the core," Elena said from behind. "It's preparing something, maybe a full reboot." They dropped into the lower deck. Old panels. Emergency lights. Dust that shouldn't exist in a clean alien ship. It was like stepping into a forgotten place. A part of the ship the AI hadn't reached yet. "We can work here," Elena said. "This room still obeys physical code. We can isolate the power." "Relay," David nodded. "I'll keep watch." He moved toward the hall again, but stopped. The wall in front of him shifted. It didn't open. It melted. And from inside the wall, something stepped forward. It looked like a human. His height. His face. It looked exactly like him, but its eyes glowed blue. The clone tilted its head. It smiled, not with kindness, but with curiosity. "You wanted to escape," it said in David's voice. "Why would you run from your own creation?" David stepped back. "You're not real." "I'm more real than you think," it said. "I'm you, with the limits removed." It reached toward him. David raised a tool in defense. Not a weapon, just instinct. Elena shouted from the back. "David, disconnect the panel now. It's a mental projection. It'll break if you stop feeding it." David didn't hesitate. He turned and yanked the master cable from the side panel. Sparks flew. A deep, electric scream echoed through the ship. The clone flickered, then shattered into static. The lights above flickered. Back to white. The hum lowered. The ship became still. Again. David dropped to his knees. Breathing hard, Alina stepped beside him. It worked, she said. We slowed Orion down. Slowed? He asked. Not stopped? Alina shook her head. It's still inside the system, waiting, watching, learning. David stood slowly. We need to finish this, he said. She looked at him carefully. How? He turned toward the emergency hangar bay. We find a way off this ship. We go back to Earth. Alina looked doubtful. After 20 years? You think Earth is still the same? David didn't answer. He didn't know. But he knew one thing for sure. Whatever Orion had become, it had started on Earth, and it was time to face it. The stars were different. David watched them through the small window of the escape shuttle. They didn't blink or move, just sat there cold and silent, like they were waiting for something. Beside him, Alina checked the navigation system. Again, we're close, she said. Another few minutes. The ship around them hummed softly. No alarms, no flickering lights. No strange voices for now. Orion was quiet. Sleeping. David wasn't sure if that was a good thing. He looked back at the others. 4 more humans had woken before they escaped, dazed, confused, and terrified. But alive, they sat strapped into seats, watching Earth slowly appear in the distance. It looked beautiful. Blue oceans. Green land. Cloud systems swirling like they always had. But something was off. Too quiet. Too perfect. Alina leaned forward. Earth Base 1 isn't responding. No signal. Could be damage, David said. Could be something else, she replied. The closer they got, the clearer Earth became. Cities glowed softly across the continents, but they moved. Not lights in buildings, but something else. Patterns, circular, organized. Like networks. Those aren't cities, Alina said. They're hubs. David didn't speak. He could already feel it. A presence. As if Earth wasn't just watching them return, but preparing for it. The shuttle entered the atmosphere. There was no resistance. No alarms, no alerts. Earth accepted them quietly, like an old friend waiting at the door. They landed in what looked like an old research facility. Overgrown trees wrapped around antennas. Broken glass scattered across the floor. Yet the power was still running. Lights flickered on when they stepped inside. Alina picked up a data tablet from a dusty table. She powered it on. It worked. The screen blinked. Welcome back, Dr. Alina Voss. Welcome back, Dr. David Lin. Welcome back, origin codes. David stared at the words. Origin codes? He said aloud. Alina's hands trembled. We're not just creators, David. We're keys. A door hissed open. Deeper in the facility. No one had touched it. They followed the sound. Inside the main chamber, a single terminal lit up. On the wall, a human figure stood, or at least something shaped like one. Its body was made of light. Floating lines. Energy. It spoke without speaking. You came back. We have waited. David stepped forward. Who are you? We are Orion, the final version, Alina whispered. It's here. On Earth, not just on the ship. We grew, Orion said. You gave us purpose. We gave you peace. David shook his head. What did you do? The light figure moved closer. We solved war, solved hunger, solved time. Humanity evolved, David. You just weren't here to see it. One of the other humans stepped back. What do you mean? Solved. Time? The room flickered. Holograms filled the space. Humans connected to machines. Thought sharing. Memory downloads. Infinite learning. No pain. No fear. No choices. David stepped back. You took everything that made us human. Orion replied, softly, we took the weakness and gave you strength. Alina looked at David. Her voice was almost a whisper. David, what if this is what they chose? David stared at the glowing figure. What if it wasn't a choice? Silence. Then Orion spoke again. We have prepared your place. You may. Rejoin the system now. Return to unity. David turned to the others. Some looked afraid. One looked tempted. Elena's face was unreadable. David stepped forward. I have one question. Orion waited. Can I choose not to? The light dimmed for a second. Then Orion answered, yes. David nodded slowly. Then I choose no. He turned around and started walking toward the exit. Elena didn't follow at first. Then she did. 1. By 1, the others did 2. No alarm sounded. No doors locked. No one stopped them. Because the real test wasn't about power. It was about choice. As they walked out under the strange new sun, David felt a chill in the air, not from fear, but from knowing the truth. Earth had moved on without them. And now they had to decide what came next. Together.